Hello, welcome to this presentation on the history of the Japanese writing system. In this presentation, I will explain the various writing systems of Japan, explain each's background and development, and discuss briefly the Japanese script reform of the 1900s. This will enable those listening to better understand the reasons behind the complexity of the Japanese written language. Japanese, depending on who one asks, has 2, 3, or 4 writing systems utilized in its written language. These 4 different systems are known as kanji, hiragana, katakana, and romaji. Katakana and hiragana are often grouped together as kana, and romaji, which is identical to English letters, is often not mentioned when discussing the Japanese writing system. Since romaji only appears in limited situations in Japanese writing, there will be little further discussion of romaji. Kanji is the oldest form of Japanese writing. These characters were originally developed by the Chinese. Modern-day Japanese uses several thousand kanji, though many of them are less known and rarely used. Kanji, in modern-day usage, is used to represent words and ideas. Each kanji character has meaning in and of itself. Kanji can also be used in combination to represent words and ideas that lack individual kanji. Kanji, however, does not come with a set pronunciation, and the same kanji can be pronounced several different ways depending on the context. This can be confusing for many learners of the language, both native speakers and foreigners. Kana consists of 2 similar but different writing systems, termed hiragana and katakana. Both hiragana and katakana were developed in Japan. Unlike the phonetic English alphabet, each kana character represents a syllable of Japanese language, meaning that the single Japanese character pronounced as sa when transcribed in romaji consists of 2 English letters due to there being 2 distinct sounds in the syllable. An s sound represented by the English letter S, and an a sound represented by the English letter A. Kana, unlike kanji, do not have meaning in and of themselves. Rather, they combine to spell words. Hiragana is used for words of Japanese origin without an appropriate kanji, as suffixes to change the grammatical role of a word written in kanji, or as particles joining the sentence parts together. Katakana, on the other hand, is used mainly for foreign loanwords, though there are other usages for katakana. Kanji may have first entered Japan near the end of the late 4th century from China, likely through Korea. Previous to this, the Japanese did not have any known writing system. Kanji may have initially assisted in trades between merchants of different nationalities. Kanji was brought to Japan in many forms. Initially, the meanings of a kanji would be preserved, often bringing the pronunciation along with it. But later, kanji would also begin to import it solely for their sounds, often discarding their original meaning. By the 8th century, Japan had a well-established set of kanji that were used in writing. Many works of the time were written completely in kanji. One of the issues the Japanese found with using Chinese characters to write Japanese was the difference in grammar structure between Chinese and Japanese. This led to the development of manyōgana, precursors to kana. The manyōgana were kanji characters that were used solely for their phonetic value and had their meanings discarded. These manyōgana served as an alphabet for the fledgling Japanese writing system. However, manyōgana still looked identical to their precursor kanji. The result was that Japanese works written in manyōgana, if read phonetically, made perfect sense, but if read according to the meanings originally held by the kanji, would be complete gibberish. This represented a step forward in Japanese writing because the Japanese were freed from the constraints placed upon them by Japanese grammar when writing. However, using the cumbersome kanji like manyō-gana to represent syllables presented its own problems. It became hard for one to immediately determine if a particular piece of writing was written using the meanings of the kanji or the pronunciation of the kanji. Also, writing an entire kanji for each syllable rather than every word increased the time needed to write Japanese. Katakana was a result of an attempt to shorten manyō-gana to make writing faster. It is believed that katakana was developed as a form of shorthand for documents. Katakana was abridging manyō-gana characters. Portions of a manyō-gana character would be discarded, and the remainder of the character would form the new katakana character. The chart on this slide shows which manyō-gana were abridged to create modern katakana and which portions were retained. Katakana spread well and was relatively uniform throughout Japan. Hiragana was also created as an attempt to simplify manyō-gana. It originates from cursive manyō-gana. Cursive manyō-gana was a form of manyō-gana in which the writing utensil rarely left the paper. This enabled writers of manyō-gana to more quickly write the characters. Cursive manyō-gana was eventually simplified to form hiragana. The chart on this slide shows modern hiragana, the manyō-gana it was derived from, and a cursive intermediate. Hiragana was mainly used by women who were discouraged from learning kanji. The famous author Murasaki Shikibu wrote The Tale of Genji and her other works in hiragana. Hiragana, unlike katakana, did not develop uniformly. Due to the large number of manyō-gana, multiple hiragana systems arose independently of each other. This was one factor that led to the Japanese script reform of the 1900s. The Japanese script reform of the 1900s saw its beginnings in the late 1800s. The opening of Japan's borders in the 1850s brought with it many new words and ideas. The difficulty of writing classical Japanese brought proposals to reduce or eliminate kanji to the table, as well as proposals to abolish kanji and kana altogether, and adopt Romaji as the new Japanese script. Officially, the script reform started in 1900 when the Department of Education made standardizing hiragana and reducing the number of kanji taught in schools a priority. These reforms, however, gained little traction until after World War II. Eventually, a standard set of hiragana was created, designating all other former hiragana as hentai-gana, which literally means abnormal kana. An example of hentai-gana can be found on the sign in the photo on this slide. Similarly, a list of 1,850 kanji would be considered as official kanji and would be taught in schools. This was later increased to 1,945 kanji. These reforms brought written Japanese to its present state. Thank you for listening to this presentation. Listed here and on the next slide are the sources from where I got the information required to make this presentation. I hope that I have been able to increase your knowledge on the history of the Japanese writing system. Once again, thank you.